In Secret Empire, Captain America, the defender of American liberty, has secretly been an agent of Hydra, a fascist Nazi offshoot, for the entirety of his life. How did this controversial move by Marvel happen? What is the expected fallout? Is Marvel normalizing white supremacy? Is Nick Spencer secretly a fascist who masqueraded for years as a progressive just so he could get to the point where he could use Marvel as a platform for his secret agenda? I'm conspiracy theorist and libcuck Dan Umpton, and this week we'll get into all of this stuff, so strap in. Welcome to the Doomcast. Captain America is a Nazi, and people are pissed. And justifiably so, because there's actual white supremacists in positions of power in our actual government. Sometimes people say, a story is just a story. Well, a story is never just a story. Clearly, Secret Empire is an allegory. But is it in favor of fascism or in opposition to it? Nick Spencer started writing Captain America 2 years ago. He's always had a bit of a political bent to his comics, and his Cap was no exception. Right-wing radio last year took him to task for making Sam Wilson, a black man, the new Captain America. The right wing also hated that Sam dealt with thinly veiled metaphors for racists against immigration, and also stood up for unarmed black men assaulted by police. Sam clearly was, as every incarnation of Captain America has been, a very progressive Captain America. But flash forward a year, and the shoe is on the other foot. In the aftermath of the strangely named Pleasant Hill event, Spencer made Baron Helmut Zemo, one of Cap's oldest enemies, use a cosmic cube to change reality, and change Cap's history from the very beginning to make him a secret agent of Hydra. Well, this sleeper agent in the form of the blue-eyed, blonde-haired Steve Rogers takes over the United States with Hydra, exiles and murders some longtime friends, including executing his old friend Rick Jones by firing squad. So people are justifiably upset that in the Marvel Universe, amidst what's happening in our universe, which is a not-too-subtle takeover of the GOP by authoritarian white supremacists, that a group of authoritarian white supremacists have taken over the Marvel version of the USA. Allegations from people that allegedly knew Spencer in his days in Ohio have come forward stating that as a business owner he discriminated against black customers, then in positions in city government he actively endorsed policies that hurt minority communities and was staunchly conservative. It also doesn't help that Nick Spencer is pretty not nice to critics on Twitter. He's pretty dismissive of a lot of these things, including the idea that Hydra are Nazis, which they are, and dismissing the idea that Nazis should be punched in the face in real life, which they should be, and Cap straight up does that. There's also a very valid point that Cap was created by 2 Jewish men, and that he straight up punched Adolf Hitler in the face in his very first appearance, right? Also, the fact that joining his team on Hydra now is Eric Magnus Lenscher, Magneto, who was a Holocaust survivor, joining Nazis. Also Otto Octavius, albeit in Peter Parker's body, not Peter Parker's body anyhow. Yeah, 2 Jews being Nazis is problematic at the very, very best, and it's not the best. That is a very bad call. Marvel said that Cap is definitely not a Nazi, and these scripts are decided on in advance, and to just give it time. This obviously pissed off a lot more people after a Marvel exec said that their new line of diverse superheroes aren't really what people want. I think that Spencer's tapping into some of what a lot of people are feeling in the United States right now. That symbols that they could trust have been hijacked. And what makes Cap's turn so powerful is the fact that he is now the very thing that he was created to stop. We're a culture now that kind of takes pride in being able to signify our virtue by standing against a greater evil. And if it isn't necessarily a greater evil, sometimes we create that straw man for ourselves. But let's consider a few things. 1. Cap isn't a Nazi by choice, but he's absolutely a Nazi. And while that's problematic, it's abundantly clear that he is on the wrong side. That Hydra are not good people and are not portrayed that way in the slightest. Save for the Free Comic Book Day Secret Empire issue 0, in which Cap picks up Mjolnir still. Pretty big problem with that. Even so, Hydra is still clearly very evil. 2. Whatever Nick Spencer's politics in the past, a person's politics can change. Mine have. A lot. But that doesn't excuse any discriminatory action he actually took. Ever. But I don't think he's likely a secret fascist or white supremacist, and I think that if you're reading that, it's a willfully flawed reading on your part. Which isn't to say that aspects of it aren't definitely still problematic. I find it insanely hard to believe that Marvel would take a pitch from Nick Spencer or something like this. I want to make Cap a fascist and then have him permanently a fascist in Marvel for forever. The bad guys win and all this cuckery is destroyed and we glorify white supremacy in the process. Hail Hydra. I'm not seeing Tom Brevoort greenlighting that shit, unless the denouement they're clearly building towards is a return to a pure Nazi-smashing Captain America who is a hero and the triumph of liberal Western democracy over totalitarian racist fascism, because that is what Captain America has to be. 4, and the final point, Secret Empire is pretty good. Nick Spencer is a pretty good writer. Ant-Man, Superior Foes of Spider-Man, Morning Glories, and Bedlam are all incredible. Also, Nick Spencer is kind of a dick on Twitter. But I don't think that Secret Empire is defending white supremacy. I doubt Nick Spencer is a racist asshole, and I'm basing that off of my also possibly flawed reading of his other work. I think that it's making a clear statement in Secret Empire that if it feels like there is a fascist takeover of our country, that eventually reason, truth, justice, and good will triumph over evil. Anyway, thanks everybody. This has been the Doomcast. Have a great week.